Hey everybody, I am Stacy. I am the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. I'm just going to give it a sec for everybody to jump on. I haven't been live in a little while, and actually, I'm sorry, I'm slightly late. I've actually had some issues here. Let me turn off that light. I feel like I look more normal now. I was looking like I was glowing and really sickly. But you guys, just say hey as you're jumping on. Tell me where you're watching from. So, like I said, I haven't been live in a while. Had another back issue, but yay, I'm doing so much better. I am back. And today we are actually going to be, this was kind of impromptu, but today we're actually going to be working on this vanity here. This piece has been like one of those pieces. If you are on and you paint furniture, you know what I'm talking about. This piece is actually a custom piece, and it's being painted like a chest of drawers I did a few years ago. And the person who purchased it also wanted to have her vanity updated. So when I got this vanity, it had been previously painted, and the paint was not, it was all chipping off. It wasn't sticking to the surface well at all. So, you guys, I'm so sorry. Hopefully, hey, Marianne, it's so good to see you. Happy New Year. Hopefully I can see these messages. I actually had to power on my old phone, because when I was trying to use my iPhone, it wouldn't, it kept freezing every time I tried to go live. So, and forgive me today, you guys, because now I think I'm coming down with something, but that's okay. Way better than a back issue. I can get through this. But anyway, back to the vanity, sorry. So the paint was not stuck on here very well. The mirror was kind of falling about, it was falling apart. It was, and tell me if you guys have seen this too. I've never seen a vanity where the mirror does not come off. But it is removable now. Thank you, Thelma. If you're on, Thelma's husband, Patrick, repaired the mirror for me. He had to epoxy quite a bit of the ornate stuff on it. It was all cracked and falling apart. Ironically, that was the only way the mirror was attached to. It was nailed in through the designs on the side. It was so weird. But anyway, that's all fixed. Sanded all the paint off the top, and I thought I was going to be set. But then once I started doing the bottom, once I cleaned it to prep with white lightning, the paint just started peeling off. So I ended up having to strip the whole thing, and thank God that went well. I also had several places where the veneer was damaged and peeling off, so that had to be replaced. It was just one thing after another as I was prepping this thing, and sometimes pieces are like that, because I cannot see any of the comments, and I hate it because I've missed you guys so much. Hey, Amber, how are you? Is everyone? Is that, you're in the Canary Islands? I didn't realize that. But, so anyway, once I got all that done, I was ready to start working on the piece. I used 2 coats of gray Boss because this was a bleeder. It hadn't bled through the current paint job, but it's definitely a bleeder. So I did 2 coats of gray Boss. And then after that, I did 1 coat of, this is a blend of Gravel Road, French Linen, and Sawmill Gravy for that base coat. And then what we're going to work on today is a second coat, which kind of is more like a watercolor finish over this. This initial coat will kind of peek through, and it's kind of a little bit of a grungy look, but we're going to be using Stormy Seas Vintage Duck Egg and Sawmill Gravy, so we will get started. I just want to go through and look at the comments just because it's been so long since I've seen everyone. Oh, thank you, Amber. I actually did a live a few years ago on the Dixie Belle Paint Company page with the piece that this is going to match. So, oh, hey, Helen. Oh, wow. How's the weather in Canada for you guys? it's just crazy here. It was like literally 8 degrees, and then the next day it was like 60 degrees. I think that's why everybody's sick too. I'm the last one to catch it. So we're gonna go ahead and just get started here. You guys forgive me. It's been a while since I've been live, so I'm trying to get it together. Balmy up there. Yeah, it seems like the weather is off everywhere. Everywhere. So how's everybody's New Year's going? Anything exciting? Like, I'm old. I didn't even make it up to midnight, to be totally honest. I think I fell asleep at like 9 o'clock. But, you know. All right. So we've got our vintage duck egg. Here we go. I love this color. It's beautiful. This is one of my favorite combos, but I just haven't painted it in a while. So we've got vintage duck egg. And then we're going to use very little Sawmill Gravy. It's just going to kind of be our highlight color. And I'm going to kind of try to bring you guys around a little bit too. Oh, right. So you're right there with me, Amber. Yeah, like I can't stay up. I don't even go out after dark. And it gets dark so early that I swear by 6 o'clock, I think it's midnight. Then again, a lot of times, like this morning, I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what it is. I can't sleep lately. Let's see. Oh, it's good to see you too, Evelyn, in New Jersey. You guys just had a snowstorm too, didn't you? All right, so here are our colors. In case you haven't seen these before, Stormy Seas Vintage Duck Egg, Sawmill Gravy. And we are going to be using, this is kind of a dabbing paint job, so we're actually going to be using, oh, hey, Dolores, good to see you. Yeah, I know. Well, I was messaging with her earlier, and I did have to take a little nap, you guys. I said I got up at 2. That's why I have coffee right now. Yeah, okay, so I feel like we have all women on here. I think I'm going through menopause, and it is killing me. I wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I am just covered in sweat. I literally have to go stand outside. I really didn't think about that because I'm sure people will be watching on replay. Just ignore that if you don't want to hear about it. It's okay, Dolores. I was a bit late too. My little dog ran outside. I had technical issues. I'm just on a roll today. But I'm so happy to see everyone. All right, and so we're going to be using our oval small. And then I'm also using a round large, and then our blending brush is going to be the mini flat, or mini, yeah, the mini here. And let me go ahead, just going to shift this over a little bit. And guys, I'm so excited. I can sort of sit on the floor again, but don't expect me to get up because that's a whole process. I won't do it when I'm live. Let's see here. I'm sure you guys all wanted to know about my menopause too, right? Happy New Year's. Oh, wow, from Serbia. What time is it there? All right. So we're going to start with a whole lot of water because like I said, we want this to kind of be a little bit, I want this a little bit watercolor. And I didn't do one of the feet down here just to kind of save it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little art brush and my vintage duck egg. And I really just kind of want to make sure all these inside parts are done. A lot of times I do take out the drawers to do that. But I want to go ahead and kind of get them painted in here because when we start this watercolor finish, I want everything to kind of go together. I don't want it to look so separate. So I'm just kind of putting that base in here. A lot of times I do this part after, but with this particular paint job, there's so many different shades of color created here that I just want to make sure it all kind of flows together. And I'm overlapping on this side here. That's fine. I'm going to bring all of that back together. Just make sure you guys can see here. So what's everybody working on today? Anything fun? You guys, I didn't paint for a whole month and I think I was going through withdrawals. Well, I mean, I did a little bit here and there, but it was just such slow going. Like I said, I'm just keeping this really, really wet. And I'll take out the drawers later just to do that little top part. Because you can't really see that with the drawers in, so it doesn't matter if it's like a perfect match there. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead. And you guys see I'm using a ton of water. Oh, thanks, Marianne. It's been a long time. I've kind of been out of this like little cloudy, grungy kind of phase. But I don't know. I've got a mid-century modern piece that I've got prepped. And after that, though, I feel like I want to do some more grungy stuff. I go through phases with everything that I paint. And really, I want to dab this in more so. I'm going to wet my brush down a little bit. Kind of want to dab this in more so because I want it to have kind of a little bit of a cloudy effect. I'm going to go darker kind of around the edges. And I'm just dabbing it on. Because it's so wet, it does pull back in a few places, so you can kind of see that undercoat that I have there. Let's go ahead and get this little section down here at the same time. Just keep that mister bottle handy. All right, so we've got, and I'll probably go back to that Stormy Seas once I start blending everything together. Oh, hey, Lori. I know, I'm so happy to be back. It is fantastic. Let's see here. I know, I'm trying to be so careful. You guys, if you don't know, had some back issues. I had surgery and this is vintage decade, by the way. Had surgery in May and everything was great. And then I was literally walking across the living room floor and my back popped and it went out again. But I did get an epidural like 2 days before Christmas. And I'm covering the rest of this area in a very light wash kind of the vintage decade. Kind of dabbing it on. But I had an epidural and that has done wonders. So hopefully that will last, no more surgeries, but I'm still trying to be careful. And I don't sit on the floor too much like this anymore. Not for really extended periods of time, but oh, thanks, Amber. All right, so we're just gonna kind of fill that in a little bit. Let's put some down here. And a little bit in here. Not gonna worry about, so I am gonna kind of just dab very lightly, don't have much paint on here. And all I'm doing is kind of bringing it together where I made that line and kind of overlapped. So I'm gonna come back, I wanna put a little bit more of my vintage decade in here. And then let's say a little bit more, sorry, that was Stormy Seas, not vintage decade. Do a little bit of a highlight there. So now I'm going to take my clean brush that I would use for blending normally. And it's not that I'm really going to use it and kind of swirl it around. I'm actually just dabbing this on here to give it a blend. Kind of creates a slightly kind of stony effect. Also, the paint's very watery, so it's pulling back like right in here. You can see some of that other color coming through. I've got my towels here, kind of wipe the excess paint that gathers on here off. And we're gonna keep going around, just kind of getting these colors to come together. I'm gonna do a little swirl in here because I want to give it that textured stony look, but I want it to be a little smoother in some places. Trying to keep this very wet too, because as it dries, once I finish, as it dries, it'll create a few drips. And see, I know you're probably wondering with the base coat why I did a blend. Well, I want that extra highlight, but also in these recess areas, because I'm not being really careful about getting a lot of coverage. Some of that gravel road is showing through. It prevents you from having to do a lot of wax work at the end, really gives it a lot of dimension, all that good stuff. Oh, and you guys, so today's Monday. I'm on a little bit early. But I've actually switched my time. I'll be back on Chalk Paint 101 the week after next. And I'm just going around, adding a little bit more. Now I'm going to come in with Sawmill Gravy. But I will be back on Chalk Paint 101 the week after next on Wednesdays at 6 Central Standard Time. So I will post the events for that later this week. So now I'm just going to come in here, and I want to show you guys here how little paint I have. This is it. So you can see there's barely any of this Sawmill Gravy on here. I just am giving it a few extra little highlights here and there. And I think do a little bit of dabbing up here just to highlight this trim. You know, you can finger paint too. I'm just using my finger to kind of blend that in a little bit. Kind of mix that up. I want a little bit of light down here. That was a tad bit much. It's kind of all about the layering, or getting a look like you're layering. You've done lots of layers, but just with one coat or two coats. But this will be my only coat of these colors here. And I'm going to come back in with my original brush that I was using for the Stormy Seas. Oh, Mary. You know what? This is such an easy paint job. It's just really, it's literally dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. That's the only thing I'm doing. And right now, just kind of some of the areas that I want a little bit more dimension, I'm just coming in with my previous brushes, kind of moving those together. And this will change as it dries too, you guys. It is, because I've wet it so much, as it dries, it's going to create a few little drips here and there and just give it a little bit more character. I'm really kind of hoping, because I haven't seen the original piece that I'm painting this to match. I haven't seen it in a couple years. And I did go back and watch the original video. Oh, thank you. I did go back and watch the original video, but you know, it's not right in front of me. And when you're doing a paint job like this, not everything, you know, it's not going to look exactly the same every time you do it, because it is more artistic. So I'm hoping that I'm getting the right amount of kind of each color so it kind of looks the same shade-wise, you know? But I think it'll be fine. It's not like it's going to be sitting right next to it. All right, so I want to go, this is looking a little flat down at this section here. I want to go ahead and just add a little bit more dimension to that. I think I'm going to put in a little bit of the Sawmill Gravy. Oops. I'm just going to wipe that paint back. So, because I use very, very little paint. I'm going to even wipe it back some more. Oh, thank you. So just want to give it, I know that looks really white, but we're going to come back in. Why do I have 2 Mr. bottles in my lap? Do you guys see me? I guess I feel like I need a little bit extra. So now I'm coming back in. I didn't put any more paint on my vintage duck egg brush. I'm just coming back in, kind of mixing that up a little bit so I can get it where I want it. Set a little bit more shading with that Stormy Seas. And I think I like where that's at. So we're going to go ahead and move on. You can see right here, this is, part of this is the Sawmill Gravy that I put on. But part of this, like down here, that's that original coat just showing through. So, actually I feel like I want a little bit more vintage duck egg up here too. I want to kind of step back and take a look at this. I feel like it's a little bit too light. So we just stick a little vintage duck egg in here. Then we're going to come back with a little Sawmill Gravy, or I mean, excuse me, Stormy Seas. Kind of a little bit around the edges. And you know, like I said, I'm painting this to match another piece. But this is also a great paint job to use with the, or this technique is great with the new Terra clay paint as well. I'm going to bring you in so you can kind of see this side part that we're going to work on. And I saved the foot down here as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. You guys, if I miss any questions or anything like that too, I will go back after the live and look at those. Let me see. Using your furniture. You know, so about raising my furniture up, which would help. Oh, sure, Marianne. Let me zoom you in. So I don't do that because right now my husband has 2 herniated discs in his neck. My daughter's putting it on the rollers for me, and I've been looking at some hydraulic lifts. I'm just bringing you guys in so Marianne can kind of see, like, so you guys can kind of see the close-up. Hopefully, just kind of see how that comes together. Let me bring you down a little bit. And you can see right there kind of in that center part, hopefully, I think where it kind of shows through. And at the end here, I'll try to bring you in as well. So right now, I don't know if anybody uses hydraulic lifts. Can you tell me? Because they're kind of pricey, and I really watched a bunch of videos, but I really just don't want to, you know, spend $1,500 on a hydraulic lift that I don't like. So, oh, hey, Felipa, it's good to see you. So if anybody uses them, please let me know. But that's why I am not raising it up. Hoping to get some of this flexibility back, though. Because I do like sitting on the floor. But I think I would probably be, honestly, I would probably be embarrassed if I tried to get off the floor right now, like if I forgot something, because it is a process. No doubt. But you know, I love doing big furniture. I don't want to stop. I mean, I could work on smaller pieces, but I love big furniture. I love all the details and, you know, everything that you can do with it. It's just not the same, I feel like, with a little table. Although I like small projects too. But I love dressers particularly, and buffets and all that good stuff. So this part's pretty easy here. It's not quite as many highlights because it's just really a smaller section. Just kind of dabbing in. Yeah, I'm not in the way here. Just kind of dabbing in, getting this paint on. You know, if you put too much paint on too, which I really haven't had to do on this, another nice way to kind of create this look is to, once the paint is drying, is to kind of put like a cloth, or even you can use saran wrap, anything like that on here. And you can actually pull some of the paint back if it's partway dry and show that underneath blend as well. If you accidentally apply too much paint and you get more of that, and you want more of that watercolor look. All right, so I'm just gonna highlight the Sawmill Gravy here and there, going down. And we're gonna take the blending brush and just, so that I haven't added any more paint here. I'm just using my blending brush and dabbing a little bit more in. Just want to make this a little bit darker around here. And I'm going to go in a little bit light maybe, so it's a tad bit too dark. But I've got 3 colors that are kind of mixing together in different places in different ways, so it really gives it a lot more depth. All right, here we go. Let's see. Dolores. Yeah, I know. Right. It's a multi-purpose hydraulic lift. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Marianne. And then I have a bad knee, which I've had 3 surgeries on that knee. And so I can't kneel on it because the screws poke out. When I had my back surgery, I was actually supposed to be getting knee surgery, ironically. So I'm just over it. I can't kneel on that knee, so yeah, it's a thing. So Marianne, you do big furniture, right? What do you, like, how do you, I don't know, maybe you're better at getting up off the floor than I am, though. We're just working on this little leg down here. Let's see. Yes, I am. I've got plates in my neck and I've got the one in my arm taken out, but I didn't get a knee replacement. I actually had this whole thing where they shortened my bone and did all this stuff and rebuilt the groove because my kneecap was dislocating. I'm just falling apart, you guys. But I'm back together now and I'm going to stay that way. You sit on a milk crate. Yeah, that's, like, I've been thinking I'm going to make one of those, like, little stools and put a cushion on it. I'm thinking I might use my furniture movers, like, take a furniture mover and then make a cushion on it and cover it. And I think I'm going to try to, kind of roll it around or something like that. Oops, wrong brush. So down here at the bottom, it's a little bit different. I kind of want to keep these feet a little bit darker. So I'm just going to kind of highlight. I did the whole thing in Stormy Seas, but I just want to add some of this vintage duck egg to kind of highlight the, like the edges here. And I do get comments though from people who don't know that I can't get off the floor. And they're like, oh, how do you do that? And I'm like, oh, it's an illusion. Yeah, I'm not really that flexible anymore. All right, so I'm just dabbing in a little bit to kind of get this vintage duck egg down here, to kind of mix in with the Stormy Seas so it doesn't look so separate, but that it still gives it a little bit of dimension here. All right, so now we're taking this round large again. I've pretty much wiped off all my Sawmill Gravy so I get the kids to help me raise things. Yes, see, and that's like, so 2 of my daughters have moved to St. Louis, and so I've lost their help. And then my other one, she's here, and she pretty much does everything right now. Oh, you guys, and so just, if you guys are local, you know, but I have where I sell my paint. I have a location where I sell paint. That's in Ardmore. It's the Rustic Willow. And that's fine. Like, I can get the paint around and everything, but furniture, commissions are nice because they just come and pick them up. I don't pick up and deliver anymore. But the ones that go to my booth, Vintage 72 is so amazing. They have come and helped me move all my, well, they didn't help me move it. They just did it. We're going to move over and do this other side right quick. I just want to get this finished up because this is the last coat on this piece. Sorry, you guys. It's kind of a mess. But they have been so amazing with helping me, well, doing it for me, really. They're not even helping. Actually, I don't want to do it this way. I feel like I'm going to block it. And let me bring you... Clearly, I need some practice on these lives again. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, it is. You guys, I miss you so much. I just miss being live because, you know, when you do this and you're not going live, it's just like, I've heard Tracy's Fancy say it, and it's so true. You're just alone painting in your garage, basically. Well, I'm not in my garage, but I do paint out there too. But you're just kind of, it's a very lonely kind of thing, and I love it. But I love the opportunity to get on these lives, and I feel like I get to socialize then. All right, you guys, so sprayed this all down nice and good. And after a while, my brushes just start getting really mixed up, especially when I'm talking on a live. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to go back to the artist brush, and I'm just going to get the paint in all these areas. So you guys, after I do this, I mean, sometimes I will have to go and touch this up, but it's usually a small enough area that I can just blend it kind of right in. Just want to make sure I get under all these and all these little grooves here. Let's see a little bit more on this one, the way the drawers sit in. Guys, it's going to be a miracle when I get this piece done. This was actually a commission piece I had on my schedule the time of my first back surgery. And then it got pushed back and pushed back. And then the time I got it back, I was in the middle of getting the prep done on it when my back went out again. So I feel like once I get this piece done, it is going to be a miracle. And then all of the things that happen with it with the prep. So this piece is like really, really delayed. I wasn't quite expecting all that prep on it, but I think it's gonna be gorgeous once I get it situated. So my brush has dried out a little bit with my vintage duck egg, so I just went ahead and misted that a little bit more, added some more water to it. So on the first piece that I did with this paint job, it did not have as much detail. This piece, I think I may end up adding like a little bit of a wax or maybe like our black glaze is really, really light. So I feel like that would be really pretty on here. Kind of more subtle to really bring out these details and not make it look too different from the first piece. So let's just put a little bit of this on here. I'm going to come back with the vintage, or with our blending brush. I'm going to wipe this back a little bit just in case I have some excess paint on it. And I'm still doing the dabbing. It just gives it a nice little kind of texture to the watercolor look. And then, you guys, once we finish this drawer, I'll finish this extra little stuff by itself. Do you have any back issues? You know, well, I'm going through menopause. So, no. But I think I was, like, when I was in high school, I did a lot of sports. And then I joined the military. I was in the Army for several years. And plus, I was, like, one of those daredevil people whenever I was young, you know, like bungee jumping or anything stupid, basically. I wanted to try it. So, oh, she is. Oh, I didn't even realize you could see her back here yet. She's the best painting partner ever, you guys. Her name's Zoe. Can you see her there? She's just sleeping. I bribed her with a treat beforehand. But, yeah, so I've just been really, really hard on my body. And, you know, people try to tell you when you're young, but you just, well, me, I think I'm kind of hard-headed. So, yeah, I just, hard on my body. And I kind of had the attitude where I thought I could do anything. And, you know, that didn't help, I'm sure. I'm also kind of dangerous. Like, I started breaking bones when I was 3. And the crazy part is I pretty much thought that was normal. Every year I, like, broke a bone. Nothing wrong with my bones, though. I'm just dangerous. And, I'm sure that comes into play with it, too. I think when I was 5, I ran through a glass storm door at my friend's house. I'm sure their parents hated to see me coming. I was in the Army, so I'm sure that didn't help either. I feel like the running is what did my knees in, though. You guys, look how much water is on here. See how it's just running down? As this dries, the look totally changes on here, too. So we're going to bring our vintage duck egg back in. Kind of spreading it out a little bit, because I did put quite a bit of paint on my brush, and I don't want it to be so opaque. So we're going to take our little blending brush. But you can see how it's just pulling back and revealing that, well, hopefully you can, and revealing that undercoat of the French linen, the Sawmill Gravy, and the Gravel Road was the other color. Got a little brush hair in there. So you can see where I just pulled a whole bunch on my blending brush. I didn't wipe it off, and I pulled a whole bunch of paint over it. It's no big deal. When that happens and you're blending, just wipe your brush off and start over, bring it all together. And I pretty much just keep going over this until I'm just happy with the end look of it. bring a little bit more dark down in here. I'm losing bristles in my French tip brush. I think I called it the besting brush a minute ago, but my French tip brush, it's relatively new, so I'm losing quite a few hairs. You know, it's really good if you're using a newer brush to kind of wash it out first and kind of prime it, so to speak, but I usually, honestly, I don't do that. So I usually am picking, I'm gonna add a little more vintage duck egg here. So I'm generally just picking out, go back to my blending brush, pull some of that back. Give it a little spray. Sometimes when I'm all done with the finish too, I'll give it a little spray, because what happens is as that dries and it activates the paint, it'll start to pull back, and then you can really see that underneath too. And this is one of those paint jobs that, like I said, it's gonna change as it dries. And it takes a little bit longer because I've added so much water to it. So let's see, let's give it a few little highlights up here. Just kind of across there. Let's kind of do down around here. The hardware for this piece is relatively small. Just kind of mix that in a little bit. Soften that edge so it doesn't look. Let's do a little bit up here too. And again, the more you go with the same brushes, the more paint you're going to start mixing around and the more mixed up it's going to get. A lot of times I do switch brushes or wash out my brushes. Soften up that little line. So up here, I feel like I have too much of the Stormy Seas. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that vintage duck egg in there. I want it to be still a little separate. I don't want it to be so smooth. There we go. So I'm liking how that's looking. You guys, let me see what time. Oh, I've been on for a long time. I know you've got the idea of this. I'll go ahead and finish this up right here and finish this bottom section up. Oh, I haven't seen Bo in so long. Hopefully I'll be seeing him soon though. All right, so we've got, let me go ahead and bring you in because these two sides are even not exactly the same. If you go back and look over here and see where it's pulled apart just a little bit more. And then this is right after we put the paint on. So you guys, I'll give this some time to dry. I might take a picture and just post how it turns out once it's dry. Thanks, Amber. I'm really happy with it. I'm excited. I really feel like these finishes though come together when you add the protectant on and it gets that really nice little sheen. And then of course I'll be doing some gilding wax and stuff on this as well. But you guys, it was so good to see everyone. I'm so happy to be back. And I just want to say thank you so much for the prayers and just all the support that everyone has given me. Like it means so much. So thank you again. Oh, thanks, Marianne. Thanks, Amber. But you guys, oh, thanks, Dolores. All right, so you guys take care. I hope you have a wonderful week. I think I'm probably going to end up popping on sometime this week again. And then, like I said, next week I will be back on the Chalk 101 page on Wednesdays. And I don't know if there's anything else. I've got the products we used in the description. Oh, you guys, I have a YouTube channel and I post stuff on there, but I don't advertise it a lot. So if you don't already subscribe, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have the link in the description as well. And I think that's about it. I don't think I've forgotten anything. But you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great week and take care. Bye-bye.